we are, Pete, talking sports in its latest iteration, and we're very excited because we're getting down to the rare birds, the teams that have achieved and survived, and there ain't but a couple.
There really isn't, and it's going to come down to one game.
One game for everybody. What is this one game fascination? The rain last week was what did it.
It really did.
Three-game series became one, and continuation became this. It was really hard to follow.
Lightning, but it was good. The state of Texas needs rain.
This is
There's
true.
no other way around.
But don't believe what the paper tells you about us possibly being out of one stage of drought. Are you kidding? It's going to take a lot more than that. But we are thankful, praise to God for the rain.
Yeah. But so, Sharyland took care of business with McAllen.
Sharyland takes care of business. McAllen, I'll tell you what, man, they put up a pretty good fight. We're looking at some of these numbers before we came on. 34 runs allowed in 32 games for Sharyland. Amazing. So to have scored 7 in one game, that was a pretty good accomplishment for Mac High.
It really was, but of course Saturday came along and Sharyland just really showed who Sharyland was again, which is why they're ranked number 2 in the state.
I mean, when you can't have the pitching they have and then explode for large numbers of runs in a single inning like they do, it's hard to beat a team like that. Absolutely.
And all they have to do is, like we were saying earlier, is just take care of business. Eagle Pass is a very beatable team.
Yeah.
Sharyland should have no problem with them, and a one-game series really helps them to their advantage.
It does.
And
It does.
They just need to take care of that business.
You know, 2 big games that we might, get to see, them against Churchill, them against United. They will not happen if they don't take care of business. So, that's a very focused team. It's a very experienced team. And I think that they're going to be able to do what they need to do. Here's a reason why. Check this out. This number is amazing. They have almost twice as many walks as strikeouts as a team. You got to be kidding. In high school, you're supposed to be undisciplined and swinging for the fences. They take a strike. They take a pitch. They go to the plate with the approach that they're going to hit their pitch, right? You always hear that said, well, wait for your pitch. I mean, literally, no. Sharyland's approach at the plate is phenomenal. Absolutely. The times I've seen them, they just play baseball the right way, and they're very focused. They make very few mistakes.
Yeah. What Eagle Pass is, and thinking of Devon Thortis is one of their main aces. He's pitching 338. That's not a very good number to go up
It's
against.
an average ERA. I mean,
but to go up against a team like this, I mean, you have to think they're going to eat them alive.
Well, they're hitting 425 as a team, Sharyland. They're slugging a ridiculous 577 as a team. And so that means they're going to score some runs. They score about 10 or 11 a game. They give up 1. These numbers are ridiculous. Sharyland the last 5 years, 154 and 14. 89 or 90% of their wins of their games are wins. This is a game that a program like that is going to win. I have all the confidence in the world. Now, a one-game series does mean that if that other team happens to get lucky, then things could be interesting.
That's the horrible part. I mean, you've got that, maybe 5%. I would say in this situation, but that 5%
It could
comes
happen.
in long shots. That's what long shots.
Long
That's
shots
why people
happen,
love
man.
long shots.
The 1969 Mets, the amazing Mets who lost 100 games their first year, 62 and 100 or something such. And then 7 years later, when we landed on the moon, the Mets and the Jets both won. So things can happen.
Things can happen, but I really don't think so either. The Sharyland should just take care of business here and don't look ahead, but take care of their business.
Churchill, if they win. Now, don't take care of business. Don't look ahead. But let's look ahead, right?
Yeah, I guess
Churchill is an amazing team. They're as good as Sharyland.
They really are, and
30 and 4. I mean,
batting 374 as a team. I mean, they've got a guy who's batting over 500.
yeah, they got a couple of stars.
Yeah.
Sharyland is more balanced, top to bottom. But that other team has 2 or 3 kids who are Trace Bonetas. So we'll see. But we haven't gotten there yet.
We haven't gotten there.
Bottom line is Friday at Harlandale,
Yes.
of all places. Sharyland will play Eagle Pass. And, we'll see how they do. I have a feeling they're going to do quite well.
So do I. And the Sharyland fans always travel well. There's no other way around it. They travel well. They love watching their teams.
That's one of the things I think that makes Sharyland successful, or at least perpetuates that success, just to know the people are behind you, big time. And there's a lot of support in that community and in the district and in the student bodies. So, they love their sports over there. And so this is a chance for a dream season. The last couple of years, they haven't gotten as far as they wanted.
Yeah.
Back in 08, 09, they went 4 deep, this and that. This is a chance for this team to join the pantheon of great Sharyland teams, and it begins with Friday and continues, we would imagine.
Hopefully we make it to Austin.
What do you know?
That would be a lot of fun.
Like Harlem's and South that year, 2007, remember?
Yeah.
It can happen.
It really
Just
can.
like in soccer, man. We got to start proving to these cats that we can play with them and we can beat them. This is
And
a
that
good
we're
opportunity.
not scared of them.
That's right.
We're not scared. And I know these guys aren't scared of him.
Trace Burnett is
He's
not
got
scared of
so
anybody.
much heart. he fears no one. He really
Joey Escobar's not scared of anybody. He got 37 RBIs. He hits almost as hard in baseball as he does in football. It's an amazing group.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
A lot of good seniors too. A lot of experienced team. I think the Sixto guy is his junior, and then one other. But then Pancho got 28 stolen bases and 40 runs. I didn't realize that. And he won like 9 or 10 games. That guy's one of the underrated stars of the team. I mean, everybody talks about Trace and he's amazing, but that other kid is tough, man.
No, he really is. I mean, he's playing ball next levels. That junior college will build him up.
I like his spirit, man. He's kind of a fiery guy. He will not hesitate to talk at you. So yeah, I'll tell you what, the Rattlers need to go out and whoop these guys and get ready for the big time.
That's all there is to it.
Enough said.
Yeah. Softball.
Softball is a strange animal because in Edinburgh, the sad city, we're looking at them 2 teams that went on and the teams that they play, and we're like, wow, that could have been them.
Yeah.
Both North and EHS feel like they could have been in that Sweet 16. San Benito beat North, as we know, and EHS went down to Harlingen South. Harlingen South first is a team that reminds me in the Old West. Here's a card player that's playing every trick in the book. That team is on a roll, man.
Yeah. You think they get out of this round?
They might.
Yeah.
Because Smithson Valley, they're a 7-loss team. They're not incredible. I mean, they're good. South's deal is this. 3 of them, Loya and Lugo and a couple of others, Jules Ortiz. Is it Jules Ortiz?
Mm-hmm.
They've been there for 4 years. And so in 2010, when South went a long way, they were freshmen. And they all hit big against
they all knew how to do it.
LBJ, 12-2. In the third round, if you beat a team 12-2 in 6 innings, that means you're on a roll. Give me a break. You're not supposed to do that to a third round team. That was amazing. Harlingen South, it could be that team of the year. Remember how you just get one team that is on a roll? I'm not sure that they're as good as they're playing, but they're playing it, man. So until they turn to a pumpkin, you got to roll with them.
Yeah. Right on, San Benito.
Ooh, San Benito is going to be a tougher muster. O'Connor is still a very good softball team. Any team with Kennedy or Benny was this huge, sleek, hard-throwing machine that just kills the ball. They're going to be good. But they're not as good as they were last year. They barely beat Steele in by-district. They had to take San Marcos, took them to 3 in area, and then they had to come from behind 4-0 in the 7th of game 1 against this team that they just beat, New Braunfels Canyon, to get here. So yes, they're a great team, but they're not as good as they were last year. I promise you. And when they made it to the state finals, to Deer Park, by the way.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think San Benito can do it. I think they might be. I think they're an underdog, obviously, but I mean, there's got to be a time when they can do it. This might be it.
We were just talking about the underdogs right now with Sherryland and Eagle Pass. So,
right.
I mean, yeah, it's anybody's game, really.
Now, San Benito, here's the thing. They've been there before. They were the first team to win a series or win a game at that level a couple of years back. They did get beat by O'Connor in the playoffs a couple of years ago. I feel like if they play their best game, they can win. I'm not so sure they will. I think that they're more prohibitive underdog than South. South, actually, I believe, has a better chance to win.
The series definitely would have helped them out.
Yeah. Well, it's all one game now.
Yeah.
Now, what does that mean? You go up one game and anything can happen.
Anything can happen. All these little papers that we have, just
the stats and the analysts and
go out the door, out the window.
A lot of it
into the chimney.
Indeed, Pete. A lot of it has to do with the day of the game and the way you travel, where you stay, whether the kids slept the night before. Are they ready to play? Because you're both going to be in a place you're not sure of. There's no home and home anymore. So, playing in a unique place, the kids are always kind of starry-eyed. They're in the 4th round. You look across and they're this huge. You just got to relax and do what you do. Take it one at bat, one pitch at a time. Because you will be overwhelmed sometimes by a team with a record like O'Connor and a history of success like O'Connor. But I'll tell you one thing. If you look back in the last 10 years in the Valley, is there a team that has a better record than San Benito, really?
No.
I mean, there's 3 or 4 that are right there. North is right there, and a couple others. But, I mean,
you always seem to be hearing their name.
That's right.
This time of year.
So what I'm meaning to say is that maybe this is the year where they push us one round farther.
Yeah.
I mean, it can happen. They've got a magical team. I mean, they had inside the park home run. First of all, they got helped, I think, because it was supposed to be 3 games, and it was 1 game, 2-0 in the 6th, postponed. The next day, they couldn't play except to finish that game, and they finished it off and won. I mean, so San Benito might have the magic.
I mean, it seems like the dice are rolling their way, especially with weather. I mean, when you get that weather little bump, and I'm not taking anything away from them, but you get that weather bump, the cards are falling in your favor.
One team responds to things like that, and the other team craters. I remember when I was in high school, we had to find 3 different places to play. We just kept going further south and south and south from Austin. We're trying to play Moody, Corpus Christi Moody. We finally found a neutral site where it wasn't flooded, and we just weren't ready to play. and they jumped all over us and they beat us, and I'm still to this day, 1,000 years later, not sure that they were a better team. So in other words, what team will respond on that day and do what they need to do to be mentally ready to play? It's exciting.
Yeah,
It's fourth round of the playoffs,
Yeah,
man. You gotta be
You're
kidding.
almost at a state tournament.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
I would like to see us get one. We usually end up in the situation in the Valley every year. Okay, we got these 3 teams and we hope we get one. I'd like to get to a point where we feel like we will get 1 and maybe 2.
Yeah, playing against each other.
That's right. What do you think of that? Like in the soccer stuff.
Yeah.
Soccer is where it's at.
Regional finals, yeah,
Playing
playing against
right.
each other.
Well, man, those are the 2 biggies. Football is kind of getting good. Spring football.
Spring football is getting good. Rowe's going to have a game.
That's right, and we're going to be there,
Yeah,
man.
it's
We're
gonna
going to
be
see
exciting.
what Justin Owens and them had to say about this season. Rowe had an exciting year last year, made the playoffs.
The
and boy,
beginning of a new era.
they really did well. And, I'm not sure. I've been looking at their roster to see who's back and who's not. We're going to get a better read on them in their spring game. All 3 McAllens in spring,
Yeah.
3 out of 4 Edinburghs. I watched the Economides last week, and they also came out to monitor. I would have to say that I think that they have a chance. I really feel like they can duplicate that playoff performance of last year. They lost some key players. I mean, it's not as if they're totally intact from last year, but I feel like they have what it
Their
takes.
line looks good.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, they got some big new kids. I mean, there's a couple of sophomores that are huge.
Yeah.
Down the defensive line, they got this kid, J.J. Castro. He's got the best hair in the valley, dude. He's like totally long hair. He looks like a Chicano from the 60s, And he's real active. He's not a big guy, but he's very active. Each line of defense, Economides has a pretty good, solid player. Jaime Salinas is a linebacker from last year, 45. He's going to play both line and linebacker. Oliver Garza, that paints himself up, looks like Ray Lewis. He's a good player. Secondary, got a kid named Ricky Rodriguez, a cornerback, a little skinny kid. Other than being a very good football player, he's probably the best salsa dancer of anyone I've seen on the team. Last year during one of the games, man, the guy was like on the sidelines, and everybody was just going nuts in there in the crowd. It was very funny after they'd clinched the game. I think it was after they won a game late, but it was really funny to see. So they got kids. They got 1 running back, Tony Isagidis. Remember him? He had about 800 or 900.
Yeah.
They've got a couple of young kids at
He
running
was
back.
battling some injuries.
Yeah, but he's toughened up, man.
Yeah.
Tony's toughened up. When he first started here, he was a scat back. He didn't want to get hit. Now he's putting his head down. I feel like he's a 1,000-yard back in the making. The quarterback, Luis Alvarez, man, have you seen him? He's huge now. He hurt his knee last year in the North game. Spent the whole. He didn't waste his time. That dude got in the weight room. He's big and he's throwing the deep ball better than ever. He's got a nice touch. He really does. I feel like if Economides stays healthy and they get some influx of talent from the JVs and freshmen that I'm seeing here in spring, they're going to be a contender. I really feel it. I'm going to see Edinburgh North this week, by the way. In fact, maybe today, Tuesday.
Yeah. What else do we got? We're running out of sports.
We're running out of sports, which brings us to the theoretical element of the show, where we discuss the future of our product. We're going to have stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to have the Roadrunners soon. We're going to have various and sundry other pro things in the summer. The summer leagues will begin in Edinburgh in June. I think there's one already going on. Mission Far. You just got to look and see where they are. So we'll have various and sundry reports. What we might start doing, and this is something to think about, is taking 2 or 3 topics, a week, and kind of banding them about, talking about them, like we did with the UIL and the helmets and all that stuff, or the 90-minute thing, That's kind of what you do in the summer, is that, we may even talk about some of the club softball that's going on with the Heat and the Magic and all those names, because they're all the kids that we watch, right?
It is.
There's always sports going on in the summer. It just takes a little more work to ferret out where they are and who's playing what and whom, but I won't miss months, I promise you.
We're getting hockey again.
Yeah, I heard
That's
that.
the rumor. That's the rumor. It's a junior league, 18 to 21-year-olds, I believe.
Junior hockey is big in other parts of the country, and so these are it's like watching summer league college players playing their leagues. It's
That's
not
exactly
bad.
what it is. Maybe someone will get to the pros.
Oh, they probably will. I mean, listen, there's more teams than ever before, right? I'm not a big hockey fan, I have to admit. But
I was thinking, straying on the way out here, I was thinking, okay, so is it going to be a smaller product because of the size and the ability of the player?
I think they're probably in the mode of trying to decide what it's going to be. But what you don't want to do is pitch it as something we had, because it's going to be a little different.
It is.
Kids are younger.
So you have these kids
Developmental.
Exactly, and they're supposed to be at their athletic height, but you have people like Jaromir Jagr,
Right, I know.
who still is.
How old is he?
I think he's in his 40s.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, just that name. You don't want to mess with
And
the guy.
he's
saying that.
still
Jagr.
he still starts in the NHL.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
Boy, those guys are some athletes. So from what I've observed about hockey, and not much, they're all legs and rear ends, and they're just strong guys, and they're just tough as nails.
They allow fighting for crying
Yes,
out
they
loud.
do. Speaking of fighting, we got some fights coming up.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some fights this summer. I want to see if I can check out Eric Molina's next fight. He's the soccer coach at the Economides. He flattened some guy out there in California.
Nice.
Yeah, first round, man. Eric, he's big and he hits hard, man. So the Valley's boxing scene right now is actually pretty good. But I did note that Sergio Parales lost. Did you see that?
Yes.
But he fought overseas, which is kind of slick. He lost a decision. It wasn't necessarily terribly close, if I read the newspaper correctly. But he took a step up in competition, and so that's pretty slick for him. He's now got to come back with a win, or a series of wins.
Yeah.
Anytime you get to that level and you don't win, then it's time to say, okay, what do I got to do to get back to that level and to win? Same for Raul Caceres, right? He's in the process of saying, okay, what do I got to do to get that shot again and this time succeed?
And he needs to do that because Edinburgh loves that.
That's right, man. You kidding? Tigre's the man. We've been watching him since he was a pup, man. I have a feeling he's going to get back in the gym and he's going to work hard and he's going to come back with some exciting fights because when he's at his best, man, throwing punches and brawling and getting mad and KOing people, it's a great thing.
Yeah,
it's a fun
really
thing.
is.
And his whole family's out there. The Valley embraces our guys, our fighters. Yeah, definitely.
Football,
What else?
Football.
Football's good.
I'm really excited about Friday. You guys need to get out there. I mean, enjoy your spring game, really. This is where you get to see what you're going to have next year.
It's a preview. It's a scouting report, right? So then the next week, I take it Memorial and Mac High will have spring games.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
The following week, I believe it's on
23rd,
Thursday.
24th.
23rd, 24th.
The Edinburghs have never been real big on the spring game thing. Right now, they're trying to break in a new field, so they don't really want to play on Cat Stadium. They want that thing to be smooth as a parking lot when August comes, and it will be.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I am assured. But they will have final scrimmages that will act as spring games, and there'll be music and everything. So I mean, and I think a couple of those are next week, and one of them is later. North is maybe later. I'll check on the dates on that. I'll try to include those in the next story. Thing to look out for in the paper this week is another good thing we need to hit. Got the all-district or the all-city teams for Edinburgh and baseball and softball, and let the discussions begin because there's some tough choices to be made. That's all I'm gonna say.
I agreed with your Miranda pick.
Did you?
Yeah, I really did. Your coach of the year. I know you had Coach Banda, and obviously
One district.
exactly deserves it.
Yeah, 30
But
wins.
I really thought with what Belinda Trevino had at Vela and the job she did was a great job.
Oh man.
I probably would have chosen that one.
You know what? And it was interesting. That selection process was kind of because she did do a great job, and really with very unproven talent. I mean, they made the playoffs. They broke free. At one point in time, they got off to that good start, and for a while there, I wasn't even sure is that the right record. Yeah, man.
They were streaking.
And they ran into the powerhouses in district, and they kind of took it on the chops. But you know what? They battled through that, and they made the playoffs. And so the future is unbelievably bright for Vela. And I agree with you. Belinda definitely should get some consideration for Coach of the Year. Maybe in the district.
Yeah.
Who knows? I haven't seen the all-district list. But no, it was a good effort. And the job Richard Tressler did with his group over at Edinburgh North. I mean, they were right there. If it hadn't been for a couple of sketchy moments against EHS, they would have been reversed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
3 or 4. That softball talent in that town is
Man.
unbelievable.
I'm interested. Next year is going to be fascinating because how much will the big shots drop and the newcomer come up? Because it's going to happen, I think, to an extent. Because you can't lose the group the EHS is losing and not be hurting. And the same could go for North. North seems to have a little bit more returning talent, especially if Caro Flores in the outfield is able to go. She came back late in the season, and she's a very active player. She can run like crazy. She'll be a better hitter next year. Her and Claudia in the outfield, Claudia Lopez, golly, woohoo, man! And they got Abby at third, and Sam, who, by the way, if you didn't notice this year, Sam Cordone hit a ton. I think she drove in 46 runs. She hit like 590. I mean, Faith was an amazing player. Melina was an amazing player and a great catcher. But Sam consistently pounded the ball. Next year, she could be the best player in the field. I can tell you that right now.
I think that's it for today, Kurt.
Well, if we think of anything else, then we'll come back on. Hey, wait a minute, we're not through yet. In other words, we're going to milk the end of this sports season for all we're worth. Go to your spring football games, follow the Valley teams in softball and baseball, and hope that they win. And we'll be back next week to tell you how it went. Although you probably will have heard it by then, but that's okay. We'll add the insight.
Yeah, we really will. I think we'll have a little bit better things to say than somebody else, especially about that spring game. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, football time.
Yeah.
We're done.